Hi guys, and in this video we're going to talk about interfaces and how they're useful in code. Now, you might think this is better using inheritance versus interfaces, and what I'm going to tell you is certain things yes, certain things no. Now, the thing about interfaces is in the interface itself you write your calling, like I death, I damage, I live, I'm alive, you get this. In the can't part, you cannot write code like this, like, my transform dot position equals vector3 dot 0. You can't write anything like that in the interface base class whatsoever. Okay? When you're writing your interface, you cannot write code inside your void calls. They must be public in order to use them. If they require something, then you must write them in as a generic. I don't believe this is right here. Float T. I'm not too sure. It's too early in the morning for me to be doing this. I'm doing this at like 5 o'clock in the morning, so give me a break. Alright, now the reason why we in our interface itself, the base class itself that it's in, like that you're trying to use it for, the reason why this is useful is the same reason here. If you're trying to do something with an interface or an inherited class, you need access to like a variety of functions, okay? But in the interface itself, if the void is not in the interface, when you go to get component, unlike the inherited class, which doesn't care as long as it's public, it can gain access to it. But in the interface, all the void calls must be part of it. So if, like, let's say you've got I damage, well, guess what? If it's not part of the interface, even though this class has it in it and you wrote it as a public field, when you get component, like let's say you called your thing like I damage, the death part can only be accessed by the script that you wrote for not really the interface itself, but the base script that you've done. Like, let's say you put health and it does your interface. It also the mono behavior and the interface both are in there. So what happens is, because it's not part of the interface, when you go get component I damageable, the interface part, you can't access the death part because it's not part of the interface. You see? So basically this is like a big old contract that says, hey, you have to have this in me in order to get me. Okay? Like, you have to have a bank account in order to deposit money into your savings and your checking and what other accounts you have. But you have to have money. That's like your base thing, like interface. And I don't know how else to explain it. Even though the call is public and everything, and you should be able to access it because it's written in an interface, you cannot access it by get component in calling for the interface. If it's not part of it, you can't call it. Which some people will be like, oh, well, this sucks. Why don't we just use inheritance all the time? Well, guess what? Because of the way inheritance works, if you go into several scripts, okay, like let's say you want three different types of scripts, okay, one being attack. I think we can do this. One be attack, and this calls for search.